TC2000. We're going to get this thing going here. Hope everybody had a really nice. Hope everybody had a good kind of finish to the day and finish to the week. I mean, what a week, man! What a week. You know, I mean, this was a really nice week with a lot of action. Honestly, really, guys, everywhere. I mean, we had action in small caps, we had action in mid caps, we had action in large caps, we had action in natural gas, we had action in gold. I mean, there's been opportunity all across the board. A couple days ago, I was talking about how the how like small caps like hadn't been trading as well in the first week of January, and I was going to start to pull my focus away from small caps, and I was going to start to focus a lot more on like large caps and commodities, because I thought that there was better action there. And as soon as I say that, we get 2 days in a row of monster action in small caps. Today, CPAH, all day runner. And then yesterday, I think it was AGTC, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure it was AGTC yesterday. Just really great moves in small caps. I traded CPAH early in the morning, made a little bit of money on it. I didn't catch, excuse me, I didn't catch the afternoon squeeze. I did not catch the afternoon squeeze in CPAH, but a huge win for me, guys, in my UGAZ swing trade. If you did not see the video that I posted yesterday, I entered a new swing trade yesterday, long UGAZ. We got a nice big gap up today, and I took the bulk of my position off the table on the gap up, and it was a really nice win. I'm still long some of that position, looking for more. I'm going to take the time on this live stream. I'm going to go over with you all my trade recaps from the day. We're going to talk about the big win in UGAZ. I'm going to go over the setup with you again. If you missed that video from yesterday, I'm going to break down that technical analysis and that setup on that UGAZ trade, which was my biggest win of the day. Then I had another real nice win on Beyond Meat. We're going to recap and break down that trade. And then I made just a little bit of money on CPAH. And then I lost some money on Trill. So 3 for 4 today to finish out the week, but finishing out the week off very strong. My best P&L day of the week. So I'm going to start off the live stream just like I do every live stream, which is with a blanket Q&A session where I just kind of open up the floor to questions, and I'll probably spend maybe the first 20 minutes or so answering all your guys' questions, or as many questions as I can. If I don't get to your question, just leave it in the comments below, and then I'll come back to the video once it gets posted on YouTube, because once the live stream is finished, it posts up on the channel. So if I do not get to one of your questions, I try to get to as many as I can, guys. But if I don't answer your question, just comment below when the video loads to YouTube, and then I'll be sure to answer your question. So let's start. Let's just open it up. So go ahead, guys. Let's begin the Q&A session, and I'll spend, we'll give some time for people to log on, and I'll take some questions on anything. It could be, your questions can be anything. It could be on about a specific stock, a specific chart. It can be an aspect of trading. It could be about my background. It could be about anything. Arts Pipeline, I trade everything. So Arts Pipeline says, what do you trade? I trade everything. I trade small caps, mid caps, large caps. I trade options, and I also trade the commodity ETFs as well. The only thing that I do not trade is crypto. Mike, my favorite color is blue. No, I'm not Puerto Rican. I am Italian. I'm not Puerto Rican. Should I stick to small cap stocks until I build my account? Would it be worth trading stocks that I can only purchase 50 or 100 shares? So AT Blair, good question. AT Blair says you have a small account. Should I stick to the small cap stocks until I build my account? Would it be worth trading stocks that I can only purchase 50 or 100 shares? Well, to answer your question, AT Blair, it's really all about. I mean, listen, percentage gain is percentage gain. Whether you can buy 50 shares or 50,000 shares, percentage is percentage. And if you can buy, 50 shares of a certain stock and that stock goes up, 10, 12%, that's 10, 12% on your money. So, I mean, percentage gain is percentage gain. It doesn't matter what your position size is. It's all relative. It's obviously it's a lot more difficult for someone with a small account to trade, let's say UGAZ with me, right? Or to buy Tesla or something like that. But what you could also do is you can trade the options on a lot of the large cap names. So what I suggest people with small accounts do. So when I have when a new member signs up for True Trading Group, AT Blair, I know you're a member. I think the most important thing for you to do is to first understand stock movement and understand technical analysis, because you can't even trade options if you don't understand how stocks move and how the underlying stock on that option moves. And if you can't identify patterns and setups in the stock, then you have no business trading the options, because the options are a lot more risky than the actual stocks themselves. They carry a hell of a lot more reward, but they also carry a hell of a lot more risk. A lot of traders with small accounts love options because it allows you to control a large amount of stock on the large caps through an option contract and use that leverage to really still be able to participate in the move. So I always recommend that when we have a trader that has a small account, to go through all of the courses on the website and understand stock movement first. And then once you're comfortable with your technical analysis on stock movement, then take the options course and learn how to trade options, because it can be a really good tool for you to grow your account very quickly. But you have to be able to maintain very strict risk management, because, again, it does carry higher risk. All right. So yes, options can be a way for you to grow your account very quickly, but it can also be a way for you to really hurt your account very quickly. So it's important that you understand what you're doing. You don't just, jump in and try to, mess around with trial and error. You really have to know what you're doing and make sure that you take the time to go through all of the courses on the site. And then ask me questions. If there's something that you don't understand on the courses, or there's something that you just really haven't grasped yet, or having difficulty understanding, you just let me know and I'll help walk you through it. In the meantime, it's good to trade small caps with that small account, but just make sure that it's a moment when small caps are trading well. Because the thing about small caps are great because when they're hot, they make huge moves, and it's very exciting. And people with small accounts and big accounts can all trade them because the liquidity is there and it's a low share price. They make huge moves, so everybody can trade them. So that's why everybody likes small caps. But the negative about small caps is that they get hot and cold very quickly. So they're not as trendy as, let's say, a larger cap stock. Like if you have an overall bullish trend in the market, like you have now in the SPY with all-time highs almost every day, you get really good action and overall bullish trends in large caps. And it's not usually that trend doesn't just change at the on a dime. You can have small caps go from red hot, red hot, red hot, red hot, and all of a sudden they're just ice cold. And what I hate to see happen is that small account traders, they only focus on trading small caps because they have a small account, and they start to trade small caps even when they're not in play. And then that's when you start to see traders that go, just death from 1,000 paper cuts, where you have a trader that's all of a sudden, a trader will message me and be like, Mike, I keep losing. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And meanwhile, they're continuing to go after small caps when they're not in play. So that's why I always say it's important as a trader to not be a one-trick pony, not just be able to trade small caps, because what are you going to do when small caps aren't in play? There's always opportunity in the market, always opportunity in the market. You just have to be able to know where to look for it. And sometimes it's not in small caps. Right now, small caps are still hot. You got CPAH today was an animal, and I think it was AGTC was an animal yesterday. So small caps are still not dead. They're definitely still in play. But especially what I notice is like in the summer earnings season, like that summer earnings season is when I start to see small caps typically really slow down. It's like, continuing to just bang your head against the wall and try to fit, a square peg into a round hole. It's, you're going to just continue to lose money little by little by little. And it can be very, very frustrating. Meanwhile, I'm not trading any small caps. I'm trading, large caps or options or mid caps. So, that's what I would say to traders that do have small accounts. I don't think you are bound to small caps. I do still think there's other ways for you guys to capitalize and to make money. Wall Street Wolf, I just looked at the chat and you're the last message that I saw, which says the thumbnail guy deserves a raise. I am the thumbnail guy. Yeah, I make the thumbnails. I'm glad you guys enjoy them. I'm glad you guys enjoy them. All right. All right, so Dom asks, when you first started trading your setups, how did you train your discipline to take only the good trades real time? I.e., what strategies did you implement to stick to your setups? I'm having trouble giving back profits on bad setups. Okay, so that really gets into something that we actually that I cover in some of the courses, Dom, which is identifying grade A setups and what's the difference between a grade A setup and a B or C type setup. And what I'll say to that is this. When you are looking at a specific setup and you're trying to identify a stock that you're getting ready to buy, do not ever just solely rely upon like one signal or one technical indicator. So one of the things that I teach all of our TTG members is a thorough understanding of how different technical indicators work together. Okay, how does a Fibonacci level work in conjunction with VWAP? How does an initial morning high work in conjunction with a trade line? How does a 200-day moving average on the daily work in conjunction with intraday resistance? Like all of these indicators, they all work together and they play off of one another. So when you're looking for setups and you're looking for patterns, you always want to make sure that you're getting the same buy signal or sell signal if you're trying to short a stock coming from multiple indicators. You don't want to just rely on one indicator. For example, I'm never going to buy a stock just because it's at the 38.2 Fibonacci level and it's pulling back in. I'm never going to buy a stock just because that's the only reason why. I will buy a stock if you have increasing volume on the surge higher, decreasing volume on the pullback, and as the stock is pulling back in, you have that decreasing calm pullback, that decreasing volume. You got the 38.2 Fibonacci level. It lines up with VWAP. The trade line's right underneath. You get a trade line VWAP crossover. Now I've got multiple indicators and multiple signals that are all occurring at the same price area. That is when I look for, okay, this is an A setup. And the volume profile on that setup has a lot to do with A plus versus B or C. I'd say a C setup is where, maybe one indicator, okay, is giving you a certain signal. A B setup might be when multiple indicators are giving you a signal, but the volume profile is not exactly what you would want to see. And an A setup is multiple indicators and the volume profile. What do I mean by volume profile? Volume profile is actually its own separate indicator. But when I say volume profile, I'm not talking about the volume profile that you might find in your charting software or in your brokerage account. When I say volume profile, I'm talking about the volume that's coming into a stock at specific points during a setup. So one of the things that you would learn, okay, in the courses and in TTG, it's stuff that I always go over, and I'm going to talk to you guys about it now, is specific setups require increasing trading volume and decreasing trading volume at certain points during their formation. And when you have a stock setup that's giving you, when you have a setup that's giving you the right stock, the right volume profile, and you get multiple technical indicators that are all giving you the same buy signal, that's when you get yourself an A plus setup. An example of that, Dom, would be a bull flag, for example. Let's take a bull flag, for example. Now, a bull flag, when a stock surges higher, That's creating the flagpole. That up move is the flagpole. And I'll just use CPAH because it's on my screen. This is not a bull flag, or technically it's a failed bull flag. But just for the sake of your question and for the sake of your answer, let me just kind of go through this real quick, just because I want to give you an example. All right, so let's say we're going to take a look at this CPAH. Now, forget about this. Forget about all of this. Pretend like this never happened, because I don't want you guys thinking that this is actually part of a bull flag. So pretend this is what the stock looks like. Okay, pretend this is the stock. This is what it looks like. Now, the volume profile that you're going to want to see, okay, on a bull flag would look like this. Okay, you'd want to see heavy, consistent, increasing volume as the stock puts in the flagpole. That would be your flagpole. Okay, then you have your flag. This consolidation is your flag. All right. During a bull flag, you then want to see the volume during the consolidation slow down and decrease. You want the volume during the consolidation to be much lighter than the volume on the surge higher. Then when you get a break up and out of that bull flag, let's say this bull flag triggered, and let's say the stock did this. Okay, let's say the stock did that. Upon the break out of the bull flag, you want to see strong volume come back into the stock. That's the volume profile that you want for a bull flag. Strong, steady, increasing volume on the way up, lighter, decreasing volume during the consolidation, strong, heavy volume on the break out of the bull flag. That would be, okay, an example of where the volume profile is what you want to see. So in comparison to that, let's say the volume looked like this, and here's your bull flag, and let's say the volume looked like this. Okay, let's say you had this huge volume surge right in the middle of this consolidation. All right, let's say you had a huge volume surge right in the middle of this consolidation. That is not the volume profile that you want to see in a bull flag. So if I saw that type of volume on that move, I would then say to myself, well, then maybe this is not a bull flag. Maybe this is a potential double top. And then you would most likely then see the stock break down and then do something like this. Okay. See the difference? How much a pattern can change just by having different volume at different points of the formation. Okay, so really, it's not a matter of, how do I know to pick the good ones or the bad ones? It's being able to identify. It's not like I have a crystal ball. It's just being able to identify what a grade A setup looks like compared to what a C or B setup looks like. And even A plus setups, they still fail. There is no setup that works 100% of the time, but the A plus setups more often than not will have a much higher probability of resulting in specific price action versus a B or C type setup. Okay. So I hope that answers your question, Dom. T-Rex asks, Mike, out of your track setups, which one have you seen them to be the most consistent for the afternoon? The most consistent for the afternoon, T-Rex, I'd probably say, honestly, man, probably would be a variation of the TTG triangle, because the afternoon TTG triangle has a very high success rate, because not only is it a TTG triangle, which in itself, in its own, has a very high percentage rate, but when you are looking for stocks that are potentially setting up for afternoon moves, you always want to look for a stock that was strong in the morning and then holds above key support levels all throughout lunchtime. Okay, you always want to see that. So when you have a stock that puts in a TTG triangle pattern in the afternoon, which means it's obviously holding above a key support level, otherwise it wouldn't be a TTG triangle, which would be a previous high of the day and maybe VWAP. Just use those two as an example. then the probability of that pattern working out are actually very high. So I would probably have to say that it's the afternoon TG triangle, T-Rex. Nico, great question. Nico says, hey, Mike, are you straight buying and selling stocks or using options as leverage? So, Nico, I typically don't leverage my stock positions with options. When I'm buying a stock, I'm usually just buying the stock or shorting the stock. There have been times where I will leverage it with an option, but it's very rare. It's very rare. And then when I'm trading options, I'm usually just trading the option. I'm looking to take advantage of that price action. I'm not necessarily hedging it against a stock position. Although I have, but it's very rare that I do that. Ryan, did I have to get a degree before working at the hedge fund? Yes. I graduated with a bachelor's of science degree or a bachelor's of finance degree with understudies in economics. What else? Yeah, Haywood. So that's what I'm saying. So when I'm talking about, so Haywood asks, you're saying the volume matches the price action when you're referring to the volume profile. It's it's not necessarily that I'm looking for it to match the price action, as it is looking for specific volume increases and decreases at certain points during a setup. Now, typically, you're going to want to see increasing volume when a stock is moving higher. I mean, that's just a basic fundamental um, thing that you look for, but that's not always the case, because if a stock is, let's say, pulling into a very key support level and you see a real high volume surge at that support level that possibly leads to a false breakdown, which is the setup that we saw yesterday in UGAZ. Yes, the stock is moving higher, but it's coming off of a new low. So it's not really like surging higher. It's more of a little like a failed breakdown that gives you a volume surge. That's an indication where, okay, that's the moment that you want to see that volume increase, just like when you're looking for, let's say, a capitulation low. So if the stock is maybe has bad news and it's just absolutely tanking, just completely overextended selling pressure to the downside, you don't want to call a bottom in that or even look for a bottom in that until you get a capitulation low. In order to get a capitulation low, you need extremely high volume. It's the heaviest volume of the day. It's got to be like way bigger than all of the other volume candles. You can also, this also applies to the daily chart, to say that that's a capitulation bottom and that's a low. So that would be an example where you're getting increase in volume, but the stock's really not moving higher. So it's not necessarily that you want the price action to match or you don't want the volume to match the price action. It depends on the setup, and there's certain times throughout different setups that you want to see volume slow down, because in the bull flag, for example, you're going to get that stock. The price action is going to be moving up and down, while it forms that flag. But all through that pattern, you want to see volume decreasing. You don't want to see volume increase when the stock goes up and then decrease when it goes down while it's consolidating within the flag. So, for example, when we go over to CPAH and let's say this was a bull flag, okay, we're just going back and using that as an example. You don't want to see at this moment, you don't really want to see like, oh, there's a big volume increase. And then now the volume comes back in. I mean, the stock pulls back in and then you get a decrease in volume. When you're getting a bull flag and you're getting that consolidation, you want the volume during this entire consolidation to be decreasing and to be lighter. So it's not necessarily that you want the profile to match the price action exactly. It's more of the pattern that you're looking at. Yeah. Hamza, would you say the failed bull flag was a short trap? Um, yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I think it really goes back to just the initial morning high on this thing held. What I want to point out to you guys is this. You see how you see how that volume that came in after this break, that gave you a real nice support level on the way back. And I think it was, this failed pattern, okay, caused a lot of traders. Obviously, traders were getting short in here, and then traders started to load in here. And when this did not break, okay, then you got back above VWAP. This was your first round of short covering. You see a little increase in volume. That's your first round of short covering. Here's your second round of short covering, and that caused a new high of the day and a halt. And then at that point, the squeeze was on. Yeah, James, that's totally fine. James asks, Mike, I'm doing some options trading, but I'm only interested in buying just puts or calls. Is that okay? Absolutely. Absolutely. That's totally fine. You don't need to. There's plenty of money to be made just by buying a call option or buying a put option. You don't need to get into iron condors, butterflies. You don't have to get into the more complex option strategies to trade options and make money in options. That's totally fine. Do I think day trading will be around 20 years from now, or are robots and algos taking over completely so the retail trader do not have any advantages and it's hard to draw profits from the market? Well, as technology advances and AI gets smarter and smarter, you're getting more and more of the volume that's traded during the day is becoming increasingly more robotic and algorithmic. So the number of traders that are actually on the NYSE floor is significantly lower than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. As time goes on, the number of individual traders gets lower and lower. But I think day trading will always be there because there's nothing that's going to stop me from trading on my own. You're getting less and less floor traders because money managers and institutions and banks and funds can place their trades for the money that they're managing for their clients. They can place their trades through computers. They don't need individual traders to do that. So you have physically less professional traders, but there's nothing that'll stop a retail trader from being a day trader. Hey, thanks, Mike. Have you tried trading pre-market? How does it differ from normal trading hours for your style? I mean, I really don't trade pre-market. Um, it's just because the volume is a fraction of the true volume. Um, I really spend pre-market. I spend the time pre-market instead of trading. I'm developing my game plans for when the bell rings, and I find that I like that routine very much. It makes me feel a lot more confident, and I like that whole process. Okay, I like that whole process. I like taking the time and going through my watch list, developing my game plan. And if I'm trading pre-market, I can't really focus on that. I get distracted, and I'd rather not get distracted when you have a stock that's not even trading its true volume. I'd rather make sure that I'm focused, ready, and prepared when a stock is trading its full volume once the bell rings. That's why I really don't trade pre-market. What's your process for scanning for setups and news? What program do you use? Recommend? Trade Ideas Scanner is great. I just use a basic gap scanner, guys, like leading gaps in the morning. What stocks are gapping up, and then I use volume, like abnormal volume or increase in volume, and then I also use new high a day. Those are the only scanners that I use. I don't have like scanners that are preset for alert me when it sees the double top or alert me when it sees a bull flag, because usually that AI software is not really that great anyway, and you're going to get a lot of alerts. You're going to get 100 alerts of bull flags, and maybe only 12 of them are actually really good bull flags. So I'd rather not waste my time with like the pattern scans. I'd rather just find the patterns myself and trust myself to identify the patterns more so than an AI program. Um, but Trade Ideas has a great scanner. Oh yeah, Tarjay, I'm not a scalper. I'm not a scalper at all. It depends, Hamza. Hamza, that's a good question. Hamza says sometimes buying at a retest of VWAP is a valid strategy. What would experienced traders like yourself do? Um, it depends, because the thing about VWAP is a funny indicator. Sometimes it's the holy grail, and it will affect a stock's price movement all day long. Other times, it means absolutely nothing. So before I'm ready to buy a bounce off of VWAP, two things I'm going to tell you. First, I have to first see that VWAP is significant on the day. If VWAP shows me that earlier that it was tested once, it was tested twice, it showed me real strong support, then maybe I'll think about a VWAP bounce entry. The second thing that I'll say is what I started this video with, someone's question. I think it was Dom's question earlier, and this goes back to I'm never buying a stock just because of one indicator. Just because a stock is at VWAP, I'm not going to buy it and look for a bounce off VWAP just because it's VWAP and VWAP alone. I'm going to be looking for, are there other indications that VWAP is support? Does VWAP line up with a key Fibonacci level? Is it sitting at a prior high? Is it the bottom end of a flag or a wedge formation? Like, is there something else that lines up with that VWAP? If that's the case, and I see VWAP is significant earlier in the day, I'll take a stab in front of VWAP and try to catch a bounce move off of that. But I'm never just going to buy something just every time it pulls into VWAP just because VWAP's there. Don't sign off, Chris. I've got, I will be doing something at the end of this live stream. So stick around. Yeah, it could be the initial morning high. All right, let's see. No, AT Blair, that doesn't tell me anything. So AT Blair asked, level 2, there can be very large bid size midway down the column and very large ask size midway down the column. Same size on both from the same market maker. Does that tell you anything important? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I will never, ever, ever place a trade just because of something I see in level 2, ever. And the reason for that is because a lot of level 2 is fake. A lot of level 2 is computers and algorithms. And I actually used to do this, what I'm going to tell you guys now, when I used to work at the hedge fund. This is actually frowned upon. It's something that after the 2008 crash, FINRA and the SEC actually started to really push back against and kind of made it illegal, but it still happens every single day. It's called, spoof trading or spoof orders. Sometimes they call it ghost orders. I used to call it a spoof order, which is a completely fake order that has no intention of getting filled, and it'll always be out of the market. Let's say you have a stock that has a $5 bid and a $5.10 offer. If you see a 50,000 share bid sitting at $4.92, that tells me nothing. That tells me nothing. Now, if you see if the stock is $5 bid by $5.10 offer, and you see a 50,000 share bid come up to $5.01 or $5 even, then that tells you something, because then you know that if the order is coming into the market, then that's telling you that that order wants to get filled. Okay, that order is real. It wants to get filled. But you can sit there all day long and you'll see large orders flash in level 2. And then as soon as the stock moves down to that price, all of a sudden the order's gone. And that's because that order had no intention of ever getting filled. It's trying to manipulate traders like yourself to buy just because you see that bid. Meanwhile, that trader who has that fake bid is really trying to sell stock. And they'll put a real large bid so traders like you get long in front of it, but you're getting long, but you're buying the shares that they're trying to sell. and then as the stock moves down towards his bid, he cancels the order, it disappears, and then everyone that just bought his shares, they panic because they're like, "Oh my god, I was gonna sell to that guy if he started to get hit," and everybody panics out and the stock drops. So I've done that when I used to work at the hedge fund to manipulate like retail traders like that to try to get in and out of larger size. So I will never place a trade just because I see a large order like that. Ever. I'll never buy a stock just because of that reason. I'll never sell a stock just because of that reason. Strickling, I think you should really, um, 2 to 3%, 2 to 3% maybe of your account. Red G Lifa says, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Red G says, I want to thank you, Mike, for all the videos that you make and all the knowledge you give to this YouTube community. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's my pleasure, guys. It really is my pleasure. So Alex asks, if you buy a call option and it starts going against you, causing you to stop out, will it sell worthless? No, it will not sell worthless. The only time that your option will be worthless is if it expires and it's still out of the money. So let's say you buy a call option for $1 a contract, Alex, and it starts going against you and it drops down to 75 cents and you sell your position. It's not worthless. It's just now it's worth 75 cents a contract. Okay. Now it's worth 75 cents a contract. So it's not going to be worthless. You're not going to lose your entire investment. The only time you would lose your entire investment is if the contract actually expires and you're still out of the money, which means the stock has not reached your strike price. Let's say you buy a $100 strike call option that's trading at $1, and the stock is at $98. If the stock does not reach $100, by the time your contract expires, your contract will expire worthless. It'll be worth absolutely zero. All right. Okay, guys. So I think that kind of wraps up our Q&A. Again, guys, if I did not get to your questions, just leave them in the comments on the video. This live stream will be posted to the channel when we're done. So you guys feel free to go back, comment your questions in the comment section, and I promise I'll get back and I'll answer each and every one of you. All right. So now that we are kind of done with our Q&A, I gave about 45 minutes or so for some people to log on, to give time for people to log on. So now let's go through the trade recaps. So I'm going to go over my trades with you today. We're going to talk about CPAH, UGAZ, Beyond Meat, and TRIL. Those are my 4 stocks I traded today. Green in 3 of them, red in 1. All right. Let's get to my very first one, which is UGAZ. Now, if you guys missed my video yesterday, I'm gonna break down for you why I entered UGAZ yesterday for a swing trade. Yesterday I got long UGAZ at 66.68. Okay, yesterday I got long UGAZ at 66.68, and the reason for that is something called a failed breakdown. A failed breakdown is a reversal signal. Okay, it is a reversal signal. It occurs when you have a very obvious support level that gets broken to the downside and immediately recovers that level. All right. It's very important that you understand that it has to be a very clear, obvious level. The reason why you need it to be a clear, obvious level is because you need people to get stopped out. You need people to get stopped out. Here is your very clear, obvious support level in UGAZ over the last week. There's your very clear support level on UGAZ. All right. So now as I zoom into yesterday's action, Okay, yesterday we had a gap down. So yesterday natural gas was weak. UGAZ gap down. UGAZ, if you guys don't know, is the 3 times long natural gas. So as natural gas goes up, UGAZ goes up. As natural gas goes down, UGAZ goes down. So we were coming up yesterday. We had the natural gas report. Now the natural gas report comes out at 10:30. It's very important that if you guys are going to be trading commodities, that you know when economic data is being released. If you're trading natural gas, you better know when the natural gas report is. If you're trading oil, you better know when the rig report, the oil report, API report, you better know when all that data comes out. Okay. You better know when all that data comes out. Jason, one of our moderators in chat, every single morning, he goes over the economic data that is going on in the day. You also, on your member dashboard, as a TTG member, we have an economic calendar that tells you what data is coming out on what day and what time, so you can be prepared for it. My game plan yesterday, again, if you guys did not see this video yesterday, I suggest going back and check it out when I entered this UGAZ trade. The game plan yesterday was I'm looking for UGAZ to pierce below this level right off the natural gas report when the data gets released, stop everybody out, and then if it immediately recovers, I'm getting long. Sure enough, here's the candle. Okay, there's the candle when the natural gas report was released. We pierced right through that level. You see how we pierced right through that level? Got a real nice increase in volume and immediately got back above that support level. That is a failed breakdown, and I went ahead and got long right there at 66.68. Okay, right there is where I got long at 66.68. Again, watch my video from yesterday. I talk about this trade. All right. So now coming into today, now I'm holding on to this for a swing trade because this is a temporary reversal signal. Okay, I'm looking for a short-term trend reversal. All right, looking for a short-term trend reversal because this is a trend reversing signal. All right, when we go to the daily chart, you can see UGAZ is on a tremendous downtrend. Okay, here's that support level on the daily chart. And after that reversal signal, I'm looking for a gap up. And there we go. We got the gap up here today. So as I pan this back out, my first take profit, again, watch the video from yesterday. Okay, right up here, 69.70 was my first take profit. Sold 25% of the position and held the rest looking for a gap up, and then bang, we get this big gap up here today. And pre-market, all right, pre-market, I took profits at, let me actually just take you guys to my trade announcements. I can show you. So here you guys can see my trade announcements on the day. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see. Sorry guys, we were real active in chat today. You can see all of the trade alerts from myself and the other moderators in chat. Today was a very active day. But all the way down at the bottom, you can see at 8:54 a.m., took more profit on the UGAZ at 73.26, still holding some from yesterday's entry. All right, so there it is, 73.26. Again, that was pre-market. And I'm still holding 25% of this position. And now I'm looking to see if this is a true reversal, or if it's just a short-term reversal. My stop loss on the rest of the position is being moved up to 71.50 area, which you can see is this little level that I just drew across my screen right here. All right, so I'm playing with house money at this point, guys. I'm looking to see if we can get up to 80. 80 will be my final take profit on the UGAZ trade. But this was a big one, guys. This is a big win. All right, so that's my first trade of the day. Now let's talk about Trill. We'll talk about Trill. I'll explain to you guys what I was thinking with this Trill. So Trill had a real big day yesterday. I had a real big day yesterday. We gapped up today. We pulled in. We held yesterday's close and then rocketed on excellent volume, might I add, through yesterday's high. So there's yesterday's high. So what I said to myself was, all right, let's zoom this in. On this pullback, we were pulling back in, and you had the trade line, you had VWAP, you had yesterday's high all sitting there. So I went ahead and right there, I got long Trill. Take you guys back to my trade announcements. You guys can see here I'm long Trill at 350. Stop loss is going to be around that $3.30 area. I'm sorry, guys, that the font on this is so small. It's just we were really active today. So you guys can see long trill at 350. So there I am there, guys, long trill. And you can see we just never really were able to get going. I was looking for us to bounce back off this level and then push back up towards highs. We never were able to do so. We put in a lower high, rolled it over, then trill just died out the rest of the day. And on this breakdown right here, back through that support level, I got flat trill. This is my only loss on the day. Where are we? Here we are at 10:20 a.m. You guys can see here a sold out trill at $3.28. $3.28. So that was my only losing trade on the day. All right, but again, it's because of the strong volume through yesterday's high. We pulled it back in. I got long there. We weren't able to push higher. My first take profit was going to be right up here in front of the high. We never quite got there. Rolled it back over. All right. Then we've got Beyond Meat. A really nice win today, guys. Beyond Meat has been on fire these last 3 days. All right, let's zoom in. Look at the daily chart on Beyond Meat. Look at this thing. Look at the volume coming back into Beyond Meat. This is the daily chart. Look at the move that Beyond Meat has made in the last couple of days. So Beyond Meat really had my attention yesterday, and I thought we had a chance of seeing some continuation. The volume continues to increase, and right off the bell, all right, the game plan this morning, actually, if you read the watch list from that we put out, the game plan this morning was look for yesterday's high, which is also yesterday's close, to be support, and then look for Beyond Meat to continue higher. Well, I was not ready for that to happen 10 seconds into the day. Beyond Meat opened, puts in this tail, holds yesterday's close, which is also yesterday's high, and just explodes. Now, I don't trade right off the opening bell, so I was not ready for this stock to make this move as quickly as it did. But this price action off of yesterday's high and yesterday's low does what? Confirms that that level is in fact support and tells me that this stock still has momentum. It still has momentum. It still has juice. So I said, I'm going to try to get long the first pullback into a key support level. So what I did was I drew my Fibonacci retracement level out once it established the initial morning high. There's your first high. We get a pullback and we pull back right into the 50 Fibonacci level that also had the trade line and VWAP, and then you got a trade line VWAP crossover. On this pullback, you guys can see we have multiple support indicators, 50 Fib level, VWAP trade line. Okay, I went ahead and I got long right on this pullback. Back to my trade announcements, I'll show you. Here you guys can see long Beyond Meat at 93.24, stop loss 92.50. Very, very small risk compared to the volatility that this stock is trading. Basically, I waited for this tail to get put in. I jumped in long, and then now this bottom tail becomes my stop loss. All right, and then you can see Beyond Meat ended up making a really nice move, traded all the way up over 97, and I started peeling profits off the table. You got to see my first take profit at 95.25, my second take profit at 96.15, and then my final take profit all the way at the end of the day at 95.32. All right, so the take profits go as follows. First take profit, second take profit, and final take profit. Okay, so here's the entry, take one, take two, take three. All right. I was really looking for Beyond Meat to, going into the afternoon, I was looking for Beyond Meat to really get up here and make new highs. I really thought we were going to. That's why I was holding on to that position. And once we rolled over here, I realized we weren't going to make new highs before the close. So I exited before the close. I didn't want to hold this over the weekend. All right, guys. So that's the Beyond Meat trade. And again, this is a really good example. You guys can see here again. There's your trade line VWAP crossover. All right. So again, I'm looking for setups where multiple indicators are giving me the same buy signal. I'm looking for volume profile, looking for all of those things that we talked about at the beginning of this live stream, and pulling out some really great trades today. This one Beyond Meat. We went over the UGAZ trade. The Trill trade ended up being a loser, but nothing devastating or dramatic, stuck to my stop loss and managed that risk accordingly. And then we had CPAH. CPAH, the big runner of the day. This was an afternoon short squeeze. I only made very little money on this, guys. I really didn't pay attention to this thing during the afternoon. It broke through the high of the day during lunchtime. And in the middle of the day, I was doing one-on-ones with some of our members. So I do a lot of one-on-one like mentor sessions where we spend either a half hour or an hour and we're on the phone. We're doing like we might do a video share and we're going over certain topics and certain lessons and things that that can help traders improve, help them build on their strengths, help them improve their weaknesses. I do a lot of one-on-one mentorship with our members. So during the middle of the day, I was doing one-on-ones. I saw CPAH break through the high of the day. It was 12:30. It was lunchtime. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to chase this thing during lunchtime. I'll just let it go. And it ended up squeezing much, much, much higher into the afternoon. And right before the bell, pushed all the way up to 425 and is now trading at 378 after the bell. But I missed that afternoon squeeze. I was also very happy with my day. That UGAZ take profit, that Beyond Meat take profit. I was sitting on a really nice day, and I just didn't. Since I was busy with one-on-ones, I didn't want to push it. But let's get into the setup here on CPAH. CPAH is kind of all about volume. Okay. CPAH had tremendous volume. Okay. As this thing surged higher. And then we got a real nice low volume pullback. Here's your real nice low volume pullback after getting tremendous volume on this surge higher. We pulled in right to the trade line. And once I saw that we kind of were holding this trade line and we bounced off on this candle, I was actually hoping that we were going to get down to here. Okay, because I wanted to get down to here because that was VWAP in the 38.2 fib level. That was my original buying zone. And we pulled in here, but we held the trade line. And I said to myself, you're going to realize the trade line's a momentum indicator. The stock just had all of that volume that came in. Maybe this thing still has a lot of momentum. Maybe it's not going to give me that deep of a pullback. I decided to get long now in front of this trade line. I'll take you back to my trade announcements. You can see here I'm long. Where are we? Here we are, right in the middle, 10:10 a.m. Long CPAH at 218. Stop loss $1.95. All right. So there we are, long at 218. We ended up holding that trade line. All right. We pushed up towards the high of the day, just like I always do, guys. My first take profit right in front of the high. You can see I took some profit off right here. Here we are at 10:11 a.m. Took some profit at 243. Still holding some. All right. Only sold 25% of my position up here. All right, so that's why this wasn't like a huge win. And then we just kept consolidating, and I started to notice this bullish pennant pattern that we just talked about previously. And when we tried to break up and out of it, you see we got that increase in volume, and then we failed. That's a failed candle. So I said, okay, that's it. That's a failed breakout. I'll just get out of this. I'll, protect my profits here on the trade. And I exited the position right there. Back to my trade announcement, you can see I sold out the remaining CPAH right here at 220. Okay. So we ended up going much, much lower. We went all the way down to 174. And I wasn't willing to hold this all the way down to 174. I was playing this for that very specific pattern. There's no way I'm holding this all the way down to 174. There's just no way. That's just too much risk. But you could have gotten back into the trade. But like I said, by the time the stock did that, I was already, I was already involved in a one-on-one with a member, and it was lunchtime. I don't chase lunchtime breakouts. More often than not, lunchtime breakouts tend to fail. In this case, you got a breakout and a short squeeze and a continuation. But more often than not, you'll get lunchtime breakouts will fail. Maybe, 7 out of 10 times you'll get a lunchtime breakout fails. 3 out of 10 times you'll get that continuation. So that's usually why I don't go after lunchtime breakouts unless it's the heaviest volume the stock's traded the entire day. And when this broke through the high, it wasn't. It wasn't the heaviest volume that it traded the entire day. So I just didn't trust it. And since I wasn't really able to focus on it, I just let it go. All right. But you guys can see this thing continued much, much higher, which is still a really good sign. because as long as we get stocks like this, as long as we get moves like this, it'll keep small caps in play for longer. All right, it'll keep small caps in play for longer. All right, that's it, guys. Those are my trades today. So we went over UGAZ, we went over Trill, we went over BYND, and we went over CPAH. So we finished the day. We finished the week really, really strong. I still have a piece of the UGAZ position. Natural gas right now is sitting at 2207, and I'd like to see natural gas hold above like 217. I'd like to see natural gas hold above 217 to 2175. That's my new support level for natural gas. I'm talking about futures right now, guys. The actual price of natural gas futures right now is 2207. I'm looking for 2217, 22175 to hold that support. And as long as we're above that level, as long as natural gas is above that level, I'm going to stay in. I'm going to stay in this UGAZ position. All right, I'm going to stay in this UGAZ position. All right, so now that concludes our trade recap. All right, what I'm going to do now is, if you were here for the Q&A and I did not get a chance to answer your question, leave your question in the comment section on the video once it loads up to YouTube, and I'll make sure to answer your question. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you about a membership to True Trading Group, and I'm going to show you guys the website and what it looks like in your member dashboard. So if you are not interested in a membership with True Trading Group, if you do not want to join me in chat, if you don't want to see my screen, hear me on the mic, you don't want my text message trade alerts, you don't want my email swing trade alerts, you don't want my courses. If you guys don't want any of that, then you can log off the live stream now. Okay, I'm done with the trading recap and the Q&A. So from this point on, for the rest of the live stream, I'm going to be talking to you about a membership to True Trading Group. So I'll give a couple minutes. Again, if you are not interested in buying a membership to True Trading Group, now is the time to log off, because the rest of the live stream is going to be me talking about a membership, what's included in it. I'm going to walk you guys through the member dashboard and show you how to navigate the member dashboard and how to use all the different tools and resources that are available to you as a True Trading Group member. All right. So again, guys, that concludes the recap and the Q&A. So if you're not interested in buying a True Trading Group membership, you guys can log off now. And I'll wait a couple minutes to give time for those that don't want to be part of that, for you guys to log off. Like I said, I'm going to give it 2 minutes, guys. I'll wait 2 minutes, and then we'll talk about the membership. All right, I'll give it another 30, 45 seconds or so, guys. And then we'll get into memberships. Again, guys, I'm not taking any more questions right now. If you guys have questions, leave them in the comment section on this video once it posts up on YouTube. Because for the rest of the live stream, I'm going to be talking about memberships, what's included, and show you guys the dashboard. Nas, what's up, man? I'm glad you can make it, Nas. All right, guys. Gotcha. Let's get started. Let's talk about memberships. I think that gives everybody enough time to kind of log off, those that are not interested in memberships. So let's dive right into it. First things first announcement that I'm going to make. We are extending the 20% discount until Sunday night. Right now, you guys can get a 20% discount on a all-inclusive 1-year membership to True Trading Group. All right, we'll put the link in the chat, but you can also click on the link in the description of this video once we post it up on YouTube. You can also just click on the link that's in the description. You guys can use that and use coupon code SAVE20. Coupon code SAVE20 will get you 20% off a 1-year all-inclusive membership. It was going to expire tonight, but we are extending it until Sunday night. So you guys have a couple more days left to take advantage of the 20% discount. Also, for those of you that sign up the 20% discount, I'm also going to be including a free one-on-one mentor session with myself. All right, so you guys, we just posted that link in chat. That's a 20% discount, valid until Sunday. It includes a free one-on-one mentor session with myself. All right. In that 1-year all-inclusive membership, let me explain to you guys what you get. You get 1-year access to the chat room, where you see my screen, you hear me on the microphone, you get all my trade alerts, you get all of our moderators' trade alerts as well. Alex, Jason, Jay, Elena, Toner, myself are the moderators at True Trading Group. You guys get to see all of our trades when we enter and exit trades. That's the chat room. You also have the ability in the chat room. All right, guys. So, like I was saying, going back to the memberships, what's included in the memberships? You guys get the access to the chat room, which also in the chat room, you have a questions only tab where you can ask questions throughout the day, where either myself, any one of the other moderators, or a member of True Trading Group could actually answer your questions. You also have the ability to private message myself and any other one of the moderators. So you guys have all access to me and all access to our moderators. So if you have questions during the day, you have a specific stock that you want to know my opinion on, you can send me a message during the day, and I answer every single one of the messages that I get throughout the day from all of our members. All right. So that's chat room. Also included with your 1-year membership is text message trade alerts. If you guys are not able to be in chat during the day, we send out text message alerts every time I enter and exit a trade to let you know so that you can follow along with what it is that I'm trading, even if you can't be in chat. You also get access to the email swing trade alerts. Every time I enter a swing trade, I send an email with the full trade breakdown, the analysis on the trade, the targets, the stop loss, how long I intend on holding the position. All of that you guys get emailed. Then you get access to all of the courses. All right. For those of you that may be new or just joining me on your first live stream, you're not really sure who I am. I started my trading career working at a hedge fund, and before they let me trade their money, I had to go through a 3-month educational program. That 3 months where I literally sat in a classroom and different traders would come in each week and teach us different topics. I've taken that education and I've broken it down and simplified it so that everybody can understand this material. You don't need Wall Street education or some fancy Ivy League. You don't need Wall Street experience or some fancy Ivy League education to understand this material. These are the courses that are available on the website. It's the same material that I learned when I worked at the hedge fund. I wrote these courses myself. Okay. There are quizzes at the end of each and every lesson and chapter. If you score 85% or higher on the quiz, you earn a badge for that course. And if you earn all the badges, you become TGG certified. Okay. TGG certified just kind of lets everyone know that you've gone through the education, you've gone through the courses, you passed all the courses, and you now have the education to help answer questions, that you know what to look for. You have that professional education. You're no longer considered a newbie. Okay. It's important to note that you get access to all of the courses. True Trading Group, you will never be upsold anything. All right. When you become a member of True Trading Group, you get access to all of our tools, resources, and courses. Okay. You get access to the beginner and foundation courses, the advanced courses, the options courses, as well as the trader psychology courses. You also get access to all future courses coming out down the road. So throughout the year, I'm going to constantly be putting out new content, new courses, new resources to help you in your development as a trader. As a member, you automatically have access to all of this. It's not like I come out with a new course, you got to pay $300 to get the course. If you are a member, you are a member. TTG, we're literally a family. We're a very close, tight-knit group. We all help and support each other. That's why you have access to me during the day. That's why I do one-on-one mentor sessions with our members. We are all very, very tight and very close. So when you join the family, you join the family. You get access to everything. All right. That is the 1-year all-inclusive membership. Use coupon code SAVE20 to get 20% off, valid until Sunday. And included with that will come a free one-on-one mentor session with myself. Okay. You also get access to the premium blog, where myself and the other moderators are putting up daily different market commentary, trade ideas, trade recaps and breakdowns, overall education and knowledge, helpful tips. What are we watching for the week? What are we doing if the Fed hikes interest rates? What are we doing? If we went to war with Iran, what are we doing? If the UK does a hard no deal Brexit, what are we doing? Like those things are some of the stuff that we put out on the premium blog. You also get access to our stock profile section. So there's a section on our website. I'm going to show you guys all of this stuff on the website after I explain to you what you guys get included in your memberships. So we have interactive stock profiles and reports where you guys can enter a ticker symbol that you're interested in. And for free, you get a downloadable PDF report with all information about the stock, the company profile, financial information, the calendar, when the company's reporting earnings. You also get the news. You get all the analyst ratings. How many analysts have a buy, how many have a hold, how many have a sell. You get access to all of that stuff included for free in your membership. right? This is everything that's included in your 1 year membership. You get 20% off until Sunday. All right, use coupon code SAVE20. We posted that link in chat. All right. Now, what I want to do now is also kind of just explain to you guys that what my goal is. Okay. Everybody, when they join True Trading Group, everybody tells me what's their goal. When you join True Trading Group, let me tell you what my goal is. My goal is for when you join True Trading Group, is for within your first year, so within your membership, I want you to make 10 to 20 times your membership fee. That's my goal. A regular 1 year membership to True Trading Group is $14.97. All right. So with that 20% discount, hold on, guys. Sorry, guys. I'm just reading some messages that keep coming through on my phone. So anyway, so regular membership is $14.97. With the 20% discount, it comes out to $11.97 for the entire year. You get access to everything that I just explained to you. You get access to that for the entire year. All right. So even if you have $2,000 to $5,000 to trade with, even you have less than that, if you have a small account, by taking that $11.97 and investing it into yourself, my goal is to help you make 10 to 20 times that throughout the course of the year. That's my goal as your mentor, as your head trader. That's something I strive for. Can I guarantee it? No, of course not. But that's me reaching my goals. That's the goal that I have set for myself. You might say, oh, well, how likely is that? Well, just this week, we had some really nice trades this week. We had UGAZ. We had big trade in Tesla. We had some really big wins this week. We had 2 members specifically. One member just joined this week. They followed me in a trade in Tesla. Okay. They made $8,200 on their trade in Tesla. That covers your membership 8 times over. Okay. In one trade. We had another member who has been trading for about 2 to 3 years, signed up for True Trading Group 3 months ago. Before signing up, they were down $50,000 in the first 2 to 3 years of their trading career. And this is actually the person that I had a one-on-one call with today, and I'm actually super stoked about it. And I'm not going to say his name because I know he follows the YouTube channel. I'm not sure if he wants me to share his situation, his financial situation, everything. So I'm not going to share it. But if you are listening and you don't mind, comment in below and let people know kind of your journey if you are watching this video. But this member was down $50,000 in the first 2 to 3 years of their trading career. And I'm happy to report that he just told me today that after 3 months of a membership, he not only has made back his $50,000, but he is now up $10,000 in the green after just 3 months, after losing $50,000 in the first 2 to 3 years. That is the difference that a professional education makes. A lot of traders will struggle in the first 2 to 3 years or even 1 year or first couple months because they do not have an education. They see somebody on the internet, they see an ad, they click on it, they watch a webinar, and someone promises them that they have a secret that unlocks the keys to the stock market, that they figured out this special pattern, that if you can just recognize these 3 patterns, you can be a millionaire. And they take advantage of your desire to learn this skill, and it pisses me off. They are marketing tactics that are taking advantage of your desire to learn this, and they incentivize you by thinking that there's a secret, thinking that there's a special way for you to cut the corner and instantly instantly start making all of this money. And then people fall for it. They buy these programs. They never get one-on-one mentorship. They never get a true education. If they ask anybody a question, they get told to shut up and they don't know what they're doing and go look at the courses again. They don't get explained anything. And that's because those people don't actually know how to explain it to you. You guys spend, 15, 20 minutes watching my YouTube videos and probably learn more in those 15, 20 minutes than you do being a member of one of these type of groups where you do not get provided the explanations and you don't get answers to your questions because they simply do not know how to answer those questions for you. Do not fall victim to that. It's all about a true professional education. And the people that I'm explaining to you that have gone through this and that I'm sharing their stories with you are real people that were probably in the same boat as you at one point. And the only difference, it's not me that makes the difference, it's the education that makes the difference. It's not that I'm some almighty being. Okay, it's the education. I didn't just be born with this education. Somebody taught it to me. I didn't know what I was doing when I first got hired by the hedge fund. It was taught to me. And then I turn around and then teach it to others. It's the education that makes the difference. It's not even necessarily me. It's the education. That's the difference. Okay? So if you guys are serious, because there's a lot of people out there that aren't serious. They just think that, they just want the easy way out. They want it. It's like they think it's a get rich quick scheme. And that's not what it is. But becoming a successful trader can be the single most, it's the most amazing achievement that anybody can really be able to say, because everybody's goal is to be their own boss, be financially independent, work their own hours and have the freedom and flexibility, and also have no ceiling. There's no cap to how much money that you can make as a trader. There's no salary. You can make as much as you want. You can make 5,000 this year. You can make 10,000 next year. You can make 50,000 the year after that. You can make 200,000 the year after that. You can make 300,000 the year after that. You can make 500,000 the year. There's no limit. There's no limit to your upside with trading. That's why it's such a beautiful, amazing thing. TTG is the best investment that you can make if you are serious about trading. If you're guys, I spend a lot of time with our members. I spend a lot of time with our members. I'm serious about teaching it, so you better be serious about learning it. If you are serious about learning it, TTG is the best investment that you can make. And I can say that because I'm giving you a real professional education that I really don't see elsewhere. But I only want people that are serious, because this is my passion. I put my blood, sweat, tears, I put my heart into this and our members and helping people, achieve their goals and become consistently profitable. So if you're serious about that, then TTG is the best investment. And I want you guys to join and take advantage of the 20% discount that's available until Sunday with coupon code SAVE20. All right. Don't sign up next week and then pay full price. Sign up now, get the free one-on-one mentor session with myself and get the 20% discount. All right. But only if you guys are serious. And I take it, if you're still watching this live stream, I take it that you're serious about your future, your family's future, and about becoming a successful trader. And if you are, I'm here to help you. Okay. Alex, Jason, Jay, Toner, the other moderators at your trading group, we are here to help you. All right. So now let's get into let's see here, the member dashboard. Now what I'm going to do now here, guys, I'm going to walk you guys through the dashboard. I'm going to walk you through what it looks like to be a member of True Trading Group. All right. I'm going to walk you guys through what it looks like to be a member of True Trading Group. I want to show you guys some of the tools and resources that are available to you. So here's your member dashboard. We have a little running it gives you the market updates, S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Bitcoin, some of the major cryptos. Up here to the right, you guys can see here are your badges. So as you earn your badges for the courses, like I said, when you score 85% or higher, you earn a badge for that course. If you earn all the badges, you become TTG certified. All right. So now as we scroll down, here's where you guys can see you have the enter the trading chat room. You guys just click on that tab. It takes you right to the chat room. But as I scroll down, I want to show you first the watch list. Every single day at around 8:45 a.m. Eastern time, we load the watch list. Jason loads the watch list every single day at 8:45. Jason is in chat. Jason's one of the other moderators of True Trading Group. He opens a chat room at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time every single day and goes over news, the economic calendar, and what stocks are gapping up and why, and talks about the watch list. Okay, that watch list gets emailed to you every morning and it gets posted in your member dashboard for you to see every day. Okay, then after 9 a.m. Eastern time, I come on the microphone and I go through my game plan. So I walk you guys through the watch list. I tell you what stocks I like the best and what I'm expecting those stocks to do. It's important to go over this pre-market because having that game plan gives you confidence once the stock actually starts to do what you think it's going to do. It gives you confidence to pull the trigger and to catch the trade. Okay, so the watch list and that game planning is very important. So here you guys can see, here's the watch list for today, January 10th. Here's your watch list. There's CPAH. All right. So that's our watch list, guys. Then you have here economic calendar. Okay, here's the economic calendar where I told you about this. Economic calendar. This gives you the date that all of the economic data, okay, is coming out and what time. Okay, so you guys can see here for January 13th, you can see what economic data is coming out and at what time. Okay, so every day here you guys can see, all right, at what time, what data gets released. Here's the API oil report, API crude. Okay, you guys can see these reports, so you can always follow along with what and make sure that you guys are up to date with what data is coming out with regards to economic calendar. All right. As we move down here, I want you guys to focus on the left side of my screen. Okay, dashboard, that's where we are. That's your dashboard. You just click on that. If you're in a different area of the website, it'll take you back to this page. Trading chat room is where you would click on to enter the chat room. And then stock profile. Stock profile, this is what I had mentioned to you. This is the resource that's available to you that if you are interested in any specific stock ticker, okay, you just enter that ticker and a report gets populated. Let's type in Apple. Okay, now here's Apple. Apple pops up with all this information. Here's where you would download that PDF report. Okay, you would just click on that and that downloads that PDF report. Then as I scroll down, you guys can see that we have an interactive chart. All right, we have an interactive chart with all the different information about, about the stock information, high, low, open, close, VWAP, average, volume, market cap, shares outstanding, okay, dividends. I mean, all of that information you guys will see on here. As I scroll down further, you have the company profile. You got a little profile on the company with all that basic information. You have news for the company, all curated stories. Anywhere that you guys can see that there's other syndications that publish articles or reports about the company get populated there. SEC filings. Okay, when companies report things to the SEC, whether they're 8Ks, 10Qs, whatever it is, all of that gets posted here. Price history. Here's the interactive chart that I was telling you about. Okay, you can enter specific dates. Okay, you can enter a specific date that you want to calculate on. Let's go to September 18th till today's date, show result. And you can see how the chart populates for you. It's an interactive chart. And here's all of, that useful information, including that you'll see on the chart: date, open, high, low, close, VWAP, volume, trading volume. Okay, you see the interactive chart under price history, corporate events, including the earnings schedule. It's important whenever you guys are swing trading, it's important that you know when the earnings are. If you're swing trading a stock, you better know when that stock reports earnings. All right, you better know when that stock reports earnings. So it's important here. You can just type that in, go to corporate events, and you can see when they report earnings. You can see here for Apple, January 28th, earnings event for Q1 of 2020. All right. Then you have financials. And last but not least, analyst rating. This is one of my favorite sections about the stock profile, guys. Analyst rating. You guys can see, out of all the analysts, how many have strong buys, moderate buys, holds, sells. All right, you guys see 15 analysts have a strong buy on Apple. All right, this gives you all that information on, regarding the analyst rating. I love this section. I think it's pretty cool. All right, so that's the stock profile section that I was telling you about. Now we get into the courses. Okay, as we move down here, you guys can see the course section, and I'll click on one of the courses. We'll go to one of the advanced courses. I want to show you guys just an example of the course section. We'll go to the TTG triangle. It's one of my favorites. All right, we're going to open up the course. Now, important first thing that I will say is all of the courses are in both text format and video format. Some people are better learners through video. Some people are better learners through text. All of our courses come in both text and video. All right. So as I scroll down, you can see here's the video section of this course. You would just click play, and then that would start the video section of this course. But then as I scroll down, you can see we break down this TTG triangle section in courses. Okay, let's just click on chapter 2. Just want to show you guys how easy it is to navigate the course section of the TTG curriculum. So again, here's you would just click play, and this one section, this one lesson of this chapter that's part of this course is a 17-minute long video. You can go down, and here's the lessons that are included in this chapter, and you guys can just click on one of those lessons, and it'll take you to a text version of this specific lesson. Okay. Or like I said, you guys can just watch the entire video where I go through each lesson for you through video and walk you through and explain to you as I'm going through this video. It's almost like I'm sitting next to you and we're going through the course together. I'm reading it to you. I'm explaining it to you. I'm elaborating on certain topics and issues and key points that I really want to make sure that you really get stuck on in a good way, meaning like things that I want to highlight and things that I want you to focus on. I elaborate on all that stuff in these courses. Okay. So that's an example of the course section. I'm just going to go back to the dashboard. So here's our dashboard. And then continuing on, guys, if we scroll down, you have the premium blog. We'll click on the premium blog. Here you guys, here's an example, top 3 things to watch in the market. Okay, these are just some things that we like to do. Futures and commodities trading, Alex's watch list. Okay, the week ahead. What to expect for the week ahead. Here's a trade idea on Umicore. Okay, Jason's put out a weekly futures commodity update. Okay, so just to give you guys an idea of some of the content that gets posted up here in the THD blog. Here's an article that I just put up the other day: what investors should do if the U.S. goes to war with Iran. So these are just some helpful content that we put out daily. Daily, this blog gets updated with watch lists, trade ideas, market commentary, or any other relevant topic that we think will help you guys in your journeys. And then you can also schedule a one-on-one training session with myself. Who's that guy? So you guys can just click on that. You can schedule a one-on-one session with myself to to go over any topics that you want to discuss, things that you're struggling with. I do a lot of trade breakdowns. So I have traders send me their trades ahead of time, and I go through their trades. I analyze them, and we try to identify what the trader's doing wrong and how we can make corrections, where we can make adjustments, identifying strengths and weaknesses. If you don't know, every single one of you, if I asked you right now, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, you should know that. If you don't know what your weaknesses are, then you don't know what you need to improve on. All right. So sometimes traders don't know what their weaknesses are, and they send me their trades, and I'm able to identify certain patterns in their trading that I think that is a weakness and that we can work on. All right. So that's the one-on-one mentor session that I do with a lot of our members. Okay, guys. So that concludes our walkthrough of the member dashboard. And again, I want to make sure that you are aware of the 20% discount that expires on Sunday. It was supposed to expire today. We've extended it to Sunday. And if you guys sign up for this 20% off, we are also including a free one-on-one mentor session with myself. Take this $11.97, invest it in yourself, get a true professional education by someone that's traded professionally on Wall Street, received a Trader of the Year award, and is part of a group that truly supports one another and gives you mentorship, answers your questions, and that you don't ever have to feel embarrassed or silly asking a question. The thing that a lot of people forget, I've been doing this for 15 years now, but there was a day one. I didn't just wake up 15 years later. There was a day one. And on that day one and day two and day 10 and day 100, if I didn't have someone that I can ask questions to, I would not be where I am today. I wouldn't be half the trader that I am today if I didn't have guidance and mentorship when I was first starting out, when I first started working at the hedge fund, right out of college, brand spanking new. If it was not for the education I received and the mentorship that I received, I wouldn't be the trader that I am today. I'm humble enough to say that. I didn't just figure this out on my own. There's no secret. I got a hardcore education and I implemented the strategies that I was taught. And I've become a successful trader because of it. And that is what I do with all of our TTG members. That is why my goal with you is not just for you to get a better understanding. My goal is for you to make money. Okay. Let's make no mistake about it. You have to understand the education, but my goal is for you to make 10 to 20 times your membership fee within the course of a year. That's my goal. All right. That's my goal. So join me, guys, but only if you're serious. You know, we're now 92 minutes into this live stream. And if you're still here with me, you're serious. If you watched all of my YouTube videos, you're serious. And if you are serious about getting an education, I'm serious about helping you understand it. And if you're serious about, putting in the work that it takes to become a consistently profitable trader, I'm serious about mentoring you through it. So take advantage of the 20% discount, guys. Coupon code SAVE20. The link was posted in chat. The link will also be in the description in this video. And use coupon code SAVE20 and get a free one-on-one mentor session with myself. You have until Sunday before that option or before that discount deal expires. Again, if I did not answer your question, we had a Q&A session in the beginning of this live stream. I was not able to answer everyone's questions. So if I missed your question, comment below on this video and I will take the time to make sure that I answer every single one of your questions. All right. That's it, gang. So I want to thank you for joining me on this live stream. I had a blast. I love doing these live streams with you all. Thank you for taking the time to join me. So again, guys, 20% off a 1-year all-inclusive membership. Get you access to every single thing that we have to offer. Click on the link that we just posted in chat. Use coupon code SAVE20 and do something different in 2020. If you're still not where you want to be in your trading career, you got to ask yourself, what are you going to do differently in 2020 to change that? And the answer should be, it should start with get a professional education. Thanks for joining me, guys. Make sure to take advantage of the 20% discount and register to get a free one-on-one with myself. I want to thank you again for joining me on this live stream, and I will see you guys in chat. Have a great weekend and come back Monday ready to rock and roll, and I'll continue to update you on my UGAZ swing trade. Take care, everybody. I'll see you guys later.